Hey, what does God say about, the Bible? What does the Bible say about the best diet? Is the best diet the Olympic Greek high protein?
Oh, no, not really. If you live on that diet for too long, you'll actually do your body some serious damage.
So you might build a bit of muscle.
Yep, but you'll take in too much cholesterol and you'll die young.
So the thing about the Greek athletes is they might have had a great diet, they might have won an Olympic race, but they...
That's about it.
Died younger.
Died younger.
Okay, what does God say about the ideal diet?
It's interesting, in the first chapter of the Bible, in Genesis chapter 1, verses 28 through to 30, it says here, then God said, I give you every seed-bearing plant on the face of the earth, and he says, and it has fruit and seed in it, and this will be yours for food.
Okay.
So he continues on in verse 30. It goes down a bit further and it says, every green plant for food.
Yeah,
so nothing about.
But some of the world's largest, biggest animals are vegetarian, and you're trying to tell me elephants who are vegetarian, it just can't be so. You mean by eating more lettuce and more fruits and veggies we're going to lose weight or gain the optimum weight?
Absolutely.
What if we become as big as an elephant?
Well, you won't.
Why?
Why? Because the way our body's actually there. And the fact that God created us so he knows what our bodies actually require as appropriate fuel to fire them up. And so a balanced diet of fruits, veggies, grains and nuts, put all that together and it's just the right mix for our bodies.
Okay, it's what God designed for us.
Yep.
Well, does God warn us against putting on too much weight?
Yeah, he does.
He does?
Yep. Proverbs 23:21. Interesting verse because it talks about those who who are gluttons and drink too much and are gluttonous will actually be poor.
Now we're not talking about
That's
being
true,
pleasingly plump. I mean, my grandma was in the mid-90s and I think she was beautiful.
But that's true though. If you do drink and eat a lot of food, you do become poor. I know I was very poor for a long time because of the drinking and the eating the wrong kind of food, the takeout food and that.
Because of the cost of health.
Well, yeah.
Yep. Cost on your health, cost on your body. You become slower and sluggish.
Okay.
I mean, the All Blacks know that if they want to perform well in a game, they're not going to do it on a high-fat diet.
Okay. Now, so the Bible warns against gluttony.
Yes.
Okay, but what about Jesus Christ? They said he was a glutton.
Yeah.
He ate and drank his way around Israel. I mean, that's what it says in the New Testament. It does.
Where?
Well, that's what he was accused.
Hey, if you're going to use Jesus as
Matthew
an example,
11:19.
if you lose that, I've got it written here. It says that the Son of Man came eating and drinking, and
that's
they
the point.
say.
Oh, they
now,
say.
the they say here is actually the laws, the law keepers and the Jews and the people who are actually.
Okay.
Yeah,
So they were trying to take him down.
They were hyper health fanatics.
Yeah, but he would have been a typical Jew,
Okay.
and he would have followed these principles that were outlined in Leviticus and Deuteronomy. So the whole idea he based his whole diet on a plant-based food diet.
Oh, he had some meat as well. Of course he did.
A little bit, not
lamb and so on.
Okay.
He did.
So what kind of health laws would Jesus keep?
Okay, well, if we go back to Deuteronomy 7, it actually starts to outline some of them there, and it's basically not eating the fat of an animal, and not eating animal's blood because the life is in the blood and you get all the poison, the toxins carried through the blood as well, so it had to be a kosher kind of meat they were eating.
Okay.
And then,
so the Greek Olympic athletes' red meat diet would have given them strong muscles perhaps, but God said be careful.
That's right.
Because it might affect your longevity.
That's right.
Okay.
And so God is really interested in our total well-being. And so, yes, by all means eat that, but also eat your grains, eat your all your whole grains, eat your fruit, your veggies, all of that in a mixed diet. And if you look at the ancient diet, it was primarily grains.
Okay.
Yeah, and the reason why God gave them that particular diet was to separate them from the rest of the world, rest of the people around them. So it separated them as God's people because God gave them
healthier.
And they were healthier.
Without disease.
Yeah, lack
whole
of
bunch
disease.
of benefits.
And here's the question to ask then. What if that does have health principles that apply to the entire human race? And if it did belong to more than just one particular group? Could be a path to happiness, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, from your experience, what's the most broken ancient law of the Holy Bible today? Thinking in terms of health, okay?
Yep. It would have to be what people throw in their mouth, the eating fat, eating...
so fat. So it said in the Old Testament what? It said eat...
Yeah, don't eat fat, and we do.
Okay.
And we eat bucket loads of the stuff. We add it through our chips, we add it, in all sorts of other places in our diet.
And of course, with the society the way it is, it's a quick meal. Everything's a quick meal these days, and so people are going outdoors and takeaway shops and things like that. And so it's a quick meal on the way home. sit down, have their quick meal.
And in fact,
It said that in a couple of places in the Old Testament, didn't it?
it does. And you know, today our palate, we like the texture of fat in our mouth. We've become so accustomed to it that when you remove it from your diet, you're like, wow, you know, where is that?
Yeah.
And yet we just love the way it masticates in our mouth. And yet it's actually something which is doing our body a whole bunch of harm.
Well, full-fat ice cream probably does taste a lot nicer than the no-fat, completely reduced. But you're saying that...
Well, it actually doesn't affect the taste. It affects the texture in our
Oh, the
mouth.
texture. Okay, and it's something you learn. Okay, and God said it's just... So if you could
stay away
change
from it.
one thing in modern society,
Remove fat from
based
your
on
diet.
these old laws of health,
Food as grown.
get rid of fat.
Food as grown.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, food is
Food's
grown.
grown.
Remove
Okay.
the fat from your diet. If
So
you remove the fat from your diet,
Okay.
you can start to reverse the effects of disease in your body.
Now, we've only got a couple of minutes left, but what if someone says, hey, look, that's the Old Testament laws. They were done away with at the cross. Who cares about the old stuff anymore? I mean, what would you say to someone like that?
Yeah, look, be a liberated person, die young. That's great.
Okay, okay.
But
No, look, seriously, God's...
That's a serious comment.
Yeah, it is, and that's what would happen.
Okay.
You know, we've got kids today who are so unhealthy because that's exactly the result. And we need to get back to a more plant-based diet. I say more plant-based. It's not eliminating meat from our diet, but getting more in line with the kind of diet God established in the very beginning. Even before there were Jews, He gave this as our diet.
Now, if St. Paul was here today, did he ever actually write against the Roman orgies?
Yes, he did.
Oh, he did?
Yep.
Okay, so he knew that they were there.
He did.
Okay.
And look, you know,
You got 25 seconds, Neil. Tell us about it. What did he say?
Galatians,
Oh, Kev's gonna
he
read
said
it.
here, Galatians 3:10, it says, all who rely on observing the law are under a curse, for it is written, cursed is everyone who does not continue to do everything.
I think we hit the wrong text there, Kevin.
I think we
Yeah,
have.
yeah, we
but
did.
anyway, he's saying the idea is to live healthy, because he was actually telling the people
Okay.
that they weren't living by the
And
law.
1 Corinthians 9 verse 24 did say, according to my notes, the very best prize anybody could ever head for is to be in heaven itself. Just an absolutely marvellous thing. And he wrote that in the context of ancient Roman orgies.